and welcome back to the broadcast booth. Here we're at halftime in Midlothian. The SAGU Lions lead 20-14 over the Bethany College Swedes in a game that's been dominated by the Lions, but the Swedes are hanging around, and it could have been a lot worse had Jeremy McDonald's catch gone for a touchdown. He's got one ball for 25 yards, and they're looking for a lot of things this year from Jeremy McDonald this year for the Lions.
40 catches, averaged 19 yards per reception a year ago, and obviously he's the target of the Swedes' defense.
But he has just one ball so far. We sat down with Jeremy McDonald a couple days ago to find out about his thoughts of last season and a big junior season up ahead. So take a look at this interview with Jeremy McDonald.
I'm Tim Roberts out here on the SAGU football practice field with wide receiver Jeremy McDonald. Jeremy, thank you for joining us here today on the SAGU Sports Live halftime show. Now, you're coming off of a really excellent year. Last year, you led the team in catches, touchdowns, yards total. What really led to that success on the field?
It's just a lot of hard work. You know, we put a lot of hard work in the off season and during spring ball, and also it carries on over to the summer. I don't take any breaks at all. As soon as spring ball's over with, I just get right back on my workout regimen for the summer and just get ready for the season.
Now, one particular game last year against Texas Lutheran, you actually set the SAGU single game record for receiving yards, 231 total. When do you know in a game that you're just in the zone, you and the quarterback are on the same page, and you're just, going to be really hot that night?
Honestly, you don't really know until the game is honestly over. You don't spend too much time focusing on details like that. You just kind of go out there and play. I didn't even realize I broke their score record until the game was over. So, I mean, that's obviously a good feeling.
Golson to McDonald all night long. Wow, the Lions are on the prowl.
Now, besides being wide receiver, you also led the team in kick return yards last year. Matter of fact, you ranked number 7 in the entire nation in yards per return. What's the difference, really, strategy-wise, being a receiver, being a kick returner? How's it different being out there in different roles in the middle of the game?
When you're a receiver, you kind of have a lot of time to, read the defense, judge your route and kind of go off of what they're doing. The main difference I would say is a kickoff return, the ball is in your hands and you have to make a play right there. You don't really have too much time to think. It's hit the hole and get on field as fast as possible. So.
Now, last year, 3 different games came down to the last drives, and we just couldn't quite pull it out. So you see right there that the margin between a 4-6 season and a 7-3 season, razor thin. What have you guys done during the off season to make that final play?
Like I said before, we put a lot of hard work in the off season. That's been a main focus of ours, that we came up short in a lot of our games. So we just let that be the focus in everything we do, from workouts to sprints on the field to practice. We just let that be the focus, and left a lot of a salty taste in a lot of our mouths, a lot of the returners. So we just can't wait to get back on the field and just prove a lot of people wrong again.
So if you look at the stats, the guy right below you on all the stats last year for receiving was Trevor McKinley. So you guys are the 2 big wideouts out there. The best always need a great nickname.
Yeah.
So right now we need to create the nickname duo. I've got 3 options here for the upcoming season. So you can choose one of these 3, and it's what we're going with. Either Eminem, The Big Mix, or MC Squared.
I kind of like Eminem.
Eminem. All right, Eminem. Now, for anybody who's been watching, keeping track, for the last 2 years, you've worn number 11.
Yeah.
This year, you're going to be wearing number 1. What's the story behind the change?
I wore number 1 in high school, and you guys probably know that Sean Haynes wore number 1 last year. So when the opportunity came for me to, have number 1, I hopped right on it, decided to wear my jersey from high school.
So what are some of your personal goals for both the team and your own self this year?
For the team, I'm going to start out with them first. I think everyone wants to just win conference, and I guess even before that, just finish with the 500, just win at least half of our games. More personal, I want to be a better leader on the team, and I guess you can say be probably number 1 in kickoff returns this year, and just be a 1,000-yard receiver. So.
That sounds great. Now, you played high school football.
Yeah.
You've played college 2 years now. Does it ever change the excitement going into that opening game? Does that ever go away?
No, I don't think it will ever go away. That first game is always, we put a lot of hard work in. It comes to 2 days. It's always fun to get out there and hit somebody else's side of your own team. So excitement will always be there.
All right. Well, we're all excited. We're looking forward to a great season. Wish you all the best.
All right.
Thank you for joining us here at the halftime show. We'll head back to the game right after this.
Welcome back to halftime here at Midlothian Stadium. Your score 20-14 in favor of the Purple Pride, the Southwestern Lions. And looking at some of the stats, first half stats, you're going to see 171 yards to 139. They lead in that category. Lead in rushing yards, 107 to 81, and also passing yards. Turnovers just 1 compared to 2 for Bethany. Penalties 6 for 45. Bethany 4 for 20 or 4 for 21. Now here's the big stat though. Look at this: 13 points off of turnovers, and that is really the difference in this ball game thus far. So anything could happen in the second half. You never know. But right now the numbers look good. The scoreboard looks good, and we shall see how the Lions can hold ground here against the tough Bethany squad from Kansas. Time of possession, 15:59 for SAGU, just 12:23 for the Swedes. Both teams converted twice on third downs, 2 of 6 for Bethany, 2 of 9 for Southwestern. Leading tacklers for Bethany, Brent Donaldson with 4. Skylar Jones, number 99, with 4 as well. Stephen Williams, Jafar Thomas, and Cody Lindenberg with 3 tackles each. For Southwestern, Jeremiah Mott, you've called his name quite a bit. He's got 4 tackles, 3 solo, 1 assisted. The freshman Kyle Flood with 3 tackles today, as well as Deontay Bones Morrison has got a trio of tackles. Rushing yards total, you've got Golson with 34, Hopkins, the freshman, with 30, or the transfer, with 32, and Harris with 28. Griffin just 12, but had that touchdown early on in the first quarter for the Lions. Passing, Golson just 8 of 17 for 64, but did have that touchdown completion pass to Trevor McKinley. McKinley again, 4 balls for 25 yards. Shelley, 31 yards, 2 catches. Bo Savage, who came in off the bench, 5 of 9 for 48 yards, including a touchdown to check that, plus a rushing play from Lindenberg. Tevis Lindenberg. He's 65 yards with a long of 21. And here's the second half kickoff. We are underway, and a short kick will be taken at the 25-yard line. Stumbling, but still on his feet now, is Tevis Lindenberg. Out to the 35, cuts back to the 40, puts his head down at the 45, and rumbles forward to the 48-yard line. A pretty good run back there, Mark, from Tevis Lindenberg.
Well, 2 guys had to team up to make the stop. They're going to start off with great field position. We're still waiting an update from Beth Cormack, the sports information director at Bethany, about the quarterback. But the last we've heard, he's got his shoulder pads off and is likely done for the day.
So Bo Savage will remain under center for the Bethany College Swedes, who find themselves down by 6 here. Ball near midfield, 48-yard line, setting up shop. Bethany College trying to tie this thing up. Let's see if that Lions defensive line can continue its aggressive play. Now here's a whistle right before the snap. And we'll wait to see what the call is. But how about that, Mark? 13 points off of turnovers. Credit that John Allen-led defense for Southwestern.
They looked very good, especially these different units. That second group that came in, then the third group with the interception return. Starters are out on the field. 2 backups are starting at the cornerback positions.
Here's a play around the outside and running out of bounds.
Jarrett Bell. He's got some good speed. He's got it to the 41-yard line, and the Lions have got to be playing quicker out there on the edge. The outside contain was lost. He picked up an easy 20 yards.
1st and 10 now. And a fumble, and it's still loose, and I think a Swede ended up on top of it, and it was Thankfully for Bethany, number 66 was in the right place at the right time and came up with that loose ball.
Ike Caston jumped in and wrestled it free, but then could not get a second hand on it.
Casey Sterling for the Swedes saved that possession. That was a wide open ball, anyone's ball at that point. But the Swedes will maintain with 13:42 left here, just underway the second half of action here at Midlothian Stadium. Season opener for both ball clubs. Handoff up the middle to Lindenberg. He pushes the power forward to the 36-yard line.
He runs, and he's like a swan in that you don't see what's going on underneath the surface, but those feet are just churning like crazy. And ground that thing forward for about 5 yards.
And we called his name several times. Jeremiah Mott, again, his 5th tackle. He is active on defense today. He is from Slidell, Louisiana, Slidell High School. A sophomore, 6 foot, 215-pounder, playing well for Coach Allen today, the defensive coordinator. Now in the shotgun is Bo Savage, got 4 receivers, looks right now, hands off back to Lindenberg, and he is wrapped up at the 30-yard line.
Ike Caston again.
And they're going to move the chains. First down Swedes, so they had good field position near midfield to begin this drive, around the 48-yard line, and moving the ball with relative ease.
If the Lions haven't got this message by now, they had planned on a passing attack. Now they're having to adjust quite a bit because the Swedes are more comfortable with Savage by just running the ball.
Absolutely.
So they've got some delayed draws, some misdirection, some counters, and basically they're making lemonade out of lemons.
And the Lions going now with a 4-3 defense, more men up front, and is a keeper, and going nowhere, stopped for a loss is Savage, sacked on the play. He had the ball in the breadbasket of running back, chose to keep it himself, and that was the wrong decision.
Kendall Evers and Dalton Snyder coming in to bring
There it is again. Look at that. A jersey tackle held him up, and the Lions prowled, and what the helmet came loose there too. What's going on there? Be careful, people.
I think Evers was looking for some identification. All he could do was grab his shirt and think, well, you're number 19, but I don't know. Got a DL? You got a proof of insurance?
That brings up a 2nd and long. We'll call it 2nd and 18 now. Definitely a passing down for the Swedes. Short pass right, caught in the 32, pushes forward, down to the 25-yard line, still short of the first down, bring up 3rd down and about 4.
That was a nice pass underneath the coverage. Kyle Flood missed the tackle.
Dylan Snyder on the stop.
That allowed them to bring the ball to a manageable 3rd down and about 4 yards.
And don't look now, but if the Swedes push this in to the end zone with the PAT, they'll have the lead. Nice catch there, or nice run there from the Swedes. Now up the middle, stop for no gain. A little extracurricular activity between number 66, number 91 for the Lions. Caston in on that action after the whistle.
And number 40, Kirk White, and number 90, Harry Ford from Thibodaux, Louisiana.
What do you do, Mark? You're 4th and 3.
I think they're going for it.
Coach Manny Matsikas is going to send his troops out and try to get 3 more yards to try to tie this ball game up with a drive that could end up in the end zone. But a big stop here would be huge for the Lions. A momentum changer. Big play here early on in the second half. Let's see what happens. 4th and 3. Man in motion, Savage pitches, and he's going to get the first down and more down to the 18-yard line, and that was just too easy.
Wow, I don't know what the Lions were expecting, but the Swedes are now knocking on the door. Nice run by Jarrett Bell. Caston ended up making the stop. Bell played some JUCO ball in California. He's now playing ball in the Midwest.
And there it is, easily across the 1st-yard marker, and gives the Swedes another 4 downs to work with. Now inside the red zone. Lions Got to stand tall here, maybe hold them to a field goal to maintain a lead. Here comes Bo Savage, sets a man in motion.
Goes
And
Lindbergh
gets the
again.
ball inside again, down to the 10-yard line.
Kendall Evers making the tackle, and it looks like Bones Morrison, who slowed him down, number 8, is coming off the field. Looked like something with a knee. Looks like it could be him cramping up in the heat.
Well, it is definitely a hot one out here. September does not mean it gets cool in Texas yet.
Lions are playing man-to-man defense on those 4 receivers.
With a man in motion. Same play, Lindbergh tries to back his way in for a few more yards and just stood up by the Lions defense. Give him maybe 1 or 2 yards on that play at most.
Now to plug up the middle, Horace Williams, 94, comes gallivanting from the sideline.
And
right here's where the Lions have got to put some brakes on and say, we're going to make you settle for 3. We're not giving up the 7. The Swedes can avenge a fairly uneventful first half for them by scoring here and taking momentum back.
Well, at the 7-yard line, 1st and 7, trying to put 7 points on the board. Here come the Swedes. Right up the middle again. Ike Kasten in on the stop. But a few more yards on that play.
And you can tell the Swedes' offensive line is getting a good surge. They're pushing the defensive linemen back, and it's making a gain almost automatic on these plays. Coach Allen is rotating players in, but right now they need to make a stop quick. If I'm Bethany, I keep running the ball.
And you give that ball to Jared Bell, number 23, who's been very effective so far in the second half.
This is 7 minutes this drive has taken so far. Starting the 3rd quarter, here come the Swedes.
Bell's going to get the ball again. No. Check that. It's number 4. He did fumble, but he's across the goal line and touchdown just like that. It's Zach Dovenbarger. First time we've called his name. Here it is again. And he crosses the end zone line. Well, let's take a look at that one more time. Looks like he was across, but we've been calling Jarrett Bell's name, and here Dovenberger gets the call, throws everyone off, the Lions off, threw us off, and touchdown Lions.
The official on the sideline.
Touchdown Swedes.
Yeah,
and now the PAT will now give the Swedes the lead, and the lead they take 21-20. The Lions give up a touchdown on a long drive, almost an 8-minute drive. You were saying this is a long sustained drive, longest of the game, Mark.
They look good. They come out of the locker room fired up. They took it down, struck pay dirt, and right now the difference in the game is a couple of special teams plays. One where the Swedes get the extra point and the Lions had theirs blocked. And of course the punt return really swung momentum around. The Lions were up 20-7 and looking to really put some distance between them and Bethany. And right now, if you're a Swede fan, you've got to feel like today could be our day. 12 plays, 52 yards, 7:43 off the clock. That's not a lot of yards per play, but they ground that one out.
Dovenbarger is actually listed as a wide receiver, just 5'9", 185, but he gets the call in that one over Tevis Lindbergh, who rushed for 1,175 yards last year, who's got a lot of the work so far in the second half until the final play, which punched the ball through the end zone, which gave the Swedes the eventual lead with the PAT. So now the Lions find themselves down for the first time all day. How will they respond? Touchback, we'll find out the 20-yard line.
But one thing that the Lions can do is answer right back and take momentum back. If you're looking ahead to the 4th quarter, the Lions will have the wind at their back.
Here it is again. Did he cross the line? Looks like Montserrat Had a shot at jarring that loose, Mark. We can't tell quite from that angle, but it was very, very close whether he actually crossed the line. Either way, Golson now is going to keep it himself. Rolls right. Tripped up. Nice play by number 33 for Bethany Collins.
James Hopkins went the wrong way.
Yep.
That is now the third time in this game we've seen a running back start to go to the left, and Golson's looking to hand off the opposite way.
He had nowhere to go, and Milton Collins wrapped him right up in a big hurry. Loss of 1, and Golson not happy about that.
Going back to that touchdown, I was watching the official over there who had a great view on the sideline, and he was emphatic about his touchdown being good.
Okay. Now Golson on a design play, pitch, and knocked down to the ground real quick. He even knocked his helmet off. Number 4 goes to the ground. That's James Hopkins. Loses his hat. Nice tackle there from...
Unfortunately, his head still wasn't in the hat when it came off.
I think that was Collins again.
And if you are a fan of the ebb and flow of a game...
Watch this hit. It was Collins. Helmet to helmet.
If you're a fan of the way games go back and forth, momentum is suddenly putting on a white shirt unless SAGU can seize it back.
You know, here's a big play. 3rd and 12. Golson, 7-step drop inside. Pass complete to Griffin. Down to the 30, still on his feet. Down ahead to the 35-yard line, just
short.
Maybe a half a yard short. Now, 4th and a half yard. Boy, you got to be at least tempted to go for it. It'll be about a yard short, actually. They'll mark it back at the 34, so out comes the punting unit for the Lions. But like that heads-up run, looking downfield, swivel, head on the swivel is Troy Griffin.
The Lions, who a year ago
again
only threw a few screen passes, they've now tried a couple today. That one was good, but they had to pick up more than 10 yards.
Garrett Bell, the running back, is set back to receive this punt, a short one. Lands it to 32, goes straight up in the air and out of bounds, and there'll be no run back attempt, and the Swedes will get the ball back in relatively good field position on the 31-yard line. So a 3 and out, essentially, for the Lions after an almost 8-minute sustained, primarily ground attack touchdown run from the Swedes.
And the Lion front has got to come up and make what the best thing that can happen now is for them to get a 3 and out, because you know they've got to be feeling winded.
Lions go back to a 4-3 defense. Most of the night they've been in a 3-4, most of the day in a 3-4, now 4-3 to try to stop that, but they don't. Trying to stop the run, and it's making it look easy, but 8-yard pickup is, I believe it's Jared Bell again. It is Bell. Mo Monserrat in on the tackle for the Lions. Brings up 2nd and about 2. That's not a good sign when you have 4 men up front and 3 linebackers behind you, and 8 yards looked easy, way too easy. Now man in motion.
Right up the middle again, and really poor tackling. That is 3 missed tackles.
Fumble. We have a fumble. Swedes will hang on to it.
Eastwood ends up coming up to make the stop, but right now, Bethany running through arm tackles, and that's Linneberg.
There's a Swede on the ground back at the 40-yard line. Looks like a lineman. Slow to get up on that play. And again, like you said, Mark, really poor tackling. 3-4 Lions really had a good shot at bringing down the ball carrier, as you see here. A nice stiff arm there. That just results in 10 more yards before Eastwood is able to haul him down. It does pull the ball loose. That is a live ball, it looked like. I believe the Swedes did recover that. Great heads-up play, though. Was his knee down? Let's take a look.
Like
his knee was actually down, so it would have been a dead ball either way right there. But like Eastwood's heads-up play, he's already had a pick 6 and looking for the ball when he makes the tackle. I like this kid. I like Ethan Eastwood. Smart player.
Well, Bethany here is wanting to tack on another score and cement the sway of the game's momentum. Right now, John Allen's team has got to find a way to make a stop. You wouldn't have thought coming into this game that Bethany would be doing it on the ground, but the change of quarterbacks has shifted what the Lions were prepared to stop. And this was the area that we struggled last year, was in stopping the ground game, giving up about 190 yards a game.
And Silas Jones back on his feet now for the Swedes, walking off gingerly. Boy, it's been a quick third quarter, just 4:13 left, and the result of that first possession by the Swedes that went nearly 8 minutes kept that clock moving, and there's just that will be less than 4 minutes left when the snap happens here in this next play until we enter the fourth quarter.
On the sideline for Bethany, I see the quarterback Bain, pads off and his arm in a sling. Let's hope that injury is not going to keep him out of action.
Savage hands off to Lindenberg, and DJ had him wrapped up, and he almost escaped DJ's grasp, which is a hard thing to do, very hard thing to do. DJ, 300-pound senior from Detroit, Michigan, also played high school ball in Springfield, Missouri. Got a little help on that tackle.
So far in the second half, Bethany's been starting. Their average starting place in the first half was their 23-yard line. SAGU was starting at the 48. But things are changing in the third quarter.
A lot of runs, and here's another run. Lindenberg down inside the 30, down to the 28-yard line, and the Swedes seem content just to pound the ball over that left tackle.
When you're making money, why change? He was 7 yards downfield before Kirk White even come close to him. So that offensive line is doing the job.
I was talking to John Allen before the game a few days ago, and he said he just hopes this D-line doesn't get tired too quickly, and that's beginning to happen possibly in this quarter, a speed versus size issue. So what John Allen feared, we're beginning to see cracks of it now. Let's see if the Lions can shore that up and go to the next level of play and stop. And there's a good stop right there. That's what you want to see.
Johnson.
There's a stop for no gain, and DJ tried to rip that ball loose and did so, but the whistle had already blown. That's the kind of defense you want to see right there. Snuff it out, wrap it up, get the play over with quickly.
I think that was Jarrett Bell with the ball, but it's going to bring up 4th and inches here for Bethany. I don't think there's any question what they're going for. They didn't come to Texas to play it safe. If you had that question in your mind when they kicked the onside kick trailing, that lets you know something.
And they are looking like they are going to go for it indeed, with Tevis Lindenberg in the backfield. Likely will get the call. What's the odds he doesn't get the call? Instead, it's an end around to number 4, who's still on his feet, tiptoes down the sideline. He is marked out of bounds at the 12. That is Zachary Dovenbarger, who had the touchdown a few moments ago from Kersey, Colorado. Here's the replay. We need to go out of bounds right there. Mark it. Referee's right on the spot. But now Dovenbarger getting lots of action here in the second half gives Bethany College a first down.
Now, who would have thought they would have pulled that play out on 4th down, but they did. Kyle Flood was able to get just enough of him.
His foot out of bounds right there. They may
step him out.
Well, they gave him an extra few yards. He was out to 15. And now number 8 gets the call around the right side. That is Lundarius Thomas. It's a couple.
By them swinging the ball wide to the left, then back to the right, it's making that defensive front have to do a lot more chasing.
Sure.
In triple-digit temperatures right now.
On an artificial surface, it is hot down there.
You know, the smartest people today may be those from Lindsborg. They're sitting over there in the sun with umbrellas and under tents You have to like their spirit. For those may be their Texas families who know what to do on a fall Saturday.
And a timeout. Timeout on the field. Bo Savage wants to talk it over. Actually, forget the timeout. It's the end of the quarter. It's a free timeout for both ball clubs as we will switch sides here. As now the Lions will be against the wind for the remainder of this ball game. And coming up on SAGU Sports Network, September 9th, that's Monday, 5 p.m. Central Time. Check it out, soccer. The Dallas Christian Crusaders will visit Waxahachie to take on the Lions here. Have all the coverage for you on SAGU.TV, and make sure you like us on Facebook at SAGU Sports Network. Check out our Instagram, Twitter feeds, all the latest social media at your fingertips. Also, volleyball. Our first broadcast of the season is September 17th at 7 p.m. Central Time. The Evangels, Mid-America Christian University Evangels, take on the Southwestern Lions.
That'll be our home opener that day. Coach Hank Moore and his team, 8 straight winning regular season records. They're a little slow out of the gate this year. They lost a pair yesterday to go 0-3. But, you know, a year ago, the team fell to 1-8, and then the coach circled the wagons, and the team reeled off about 9 or 10 wins in a row.
One of the best coaches in the entire NAIA works in Waxahachie, Texas, and we're extremely blessed to have Coach Hank Moore. He's got a national title banner hanging in the gym, and he always fields a very, very competitive ball club, and you'll catch all the action here. Home games, SAGU Sports Network.
It's hard to believe, but that third quarter is all over with, and it seems like Bethany had the ball the entire quarter. Now they're going against the wind, but when you're running, it really doesn't matter. And SAGU is definitely going to need the wind.
Second down and 7.
Was just informed that Bethany had the ball 12 of the 15 minutes in the third quarter.
Second half adjustments are a huge part of this ball game, and Coach Manny Matsakis has made some good transitions to get the tide turned here. Now they actually can get a first down here around the 2-yard line. They could.
But they've just taken a delay penalty, 5 yards. On the offensive line, Josh Villarreal is in, just 5'8", but he's 265 pounds. He's at right tackle, number 54.
Here's an end around and into the end zone for a touchdown is Londarius Thomas, a freshman. Puts the Swedes further out on top. And that drive looked way too easy.
That's back-to-back long drive touchdowns.
On the ground primarily.
The defense looks very tired. It's supposed to be the other way around, with us grinding them down, but they're getting stronger as the game's going on.
Extra point is good, and that gives the Swedes an 8-point lead.
Londarius Thomas, the wide receiver, number 8, comes around right end, and no one even touched him. Untouched into the end zone. 8 plays, 69 yards, 5:02 off the clock, and old man Mo is liking the Viking wings right now. SAGU has got to turn things around, and if there's anybody who is able of doing that, it would be the senior quarterback, Reed Golson. A year ago, we lost the lead in the fourth quarter after leading throughout the game. It was Golson who rallied the troops. Right now, the team can afford to get a good kickoff return here. And the Lions were lining up on the wrong end of the field.
Looks like both teams lined up on the wrong side of the field.
Right.
So
McKinley and McDonald were kind of going, boy, it seems like we already got on the field.
And look at these Golson stats. Look how he's improved from his junior season, or his sophomore season, to his junior season. In just the yards, more than 300 yards improvement, 5 more touchdowns. Did have more picks, though. But look at the completions, almost double the number of completions. So a lot more reps, a lot more confidence. And like you said, he is the man. As he goes, so goes really the Lions team in general. We talk about the D-line, but the D-line plus Golson's play will be the factor all season long. And it's going to play out today here at Midlothian Stadium. A short kick, taken at the 12. McKinley slides forward past the 30, so not bad starting field position for the Lions. There is a flag on the field back near midfield. We'll wait to see what the call is, but for now the ball will be spotted at the 31-yard line, with Golson now finding himself down by 8. Here's the call.
The Swedes have 21 unanswered points, Rob. And I think the key is going to be Golson, but Golson has got to get the ball in the hands of his playmakers.
Well, McKinley or McDonald needs to see that ball thrown his way some more. Okay, so it pushes back to about the, well, then maybe move back to the 26-yard line possibly.
They may make them re-kick the ball.
Or they could do just that. That's the Swedes' option. If they're happy with the 26, they'll play on. But yeah, like you said, Golson. Golson's got to start looking more for his #1 receiver, Jeremy McDonald. Did have that one catch early on, and there was a penalty involved, and he's been relatively quiet since then. He lines up on the far left here at the bottom of your screen. Like to see him get active now. Golson looks right, throws behind the intended receiver, number 14, Dylan Moore.
That was a long pass on the opposite side of the field. And I would think that even though McDonald is a great weapon, you don't want to use him as a decoy. I mean, he's been relegated to that for a while. Now number 3, Jafar Thomas, is switching to cover him on the near side.
Troy Griffin gets the call.
Yeah, that's our best run in a quarter.
Some extracurricular afterwards. He scrambles ahead for 5 or 6. Like to see him get the ball a bit more, or his running mate, James Hopkins, just to keep things honest, because passing game, those short passes are not really working. I'd like to see McDonald go downfield and have Reed, give it a whirl. McDonald can go up and get that ball. We've seen it before. He does have single coverage out here, at the bottom of your screen. 3rd and 3. Golson hands it off to
He wasn't even close.
Griffin.
He got maybe
again,
a yard.
well short.
Brent Donaldson got in on the stop. Trey Lyles, and the Lions are going to have to punt it away. 4th down and 1, and we again another drive. We're not even getting the ball to McKinley, so they've done either a very good job of taking those guys.
And Golson, you see him on the sideline, he looks frustrated. He is not happy with himself or the offense right now, and they're going to have to make some second half adjustments in this 4th quarter, or else the Swedes are going to keep pounding and keep playing tough defense like they are, and dominating the time of possession as they did in the 3rd quarter. Fair catch. Did he touch it? It's going to roll down inside the 10-yard line.
That's a bit of good fortune. Now the defense, if they can get a stop here, the Lions could get the ball at midfield. That particular drive started off, we're looking for the Lions to look more for some of their weapons, and on the very first play, Golson ripped a nice bullet out to Moore with a lot of want-to on the ball, but he threw it too hard.
Wrong spot.
Steven Stewart boomed that one, and with the roll, 56 yards. Not his career long, but we'll take it right now.
We need all the help we can get to keep these Swedes at bay.
Right now with 12:56 to go, don't be surprised if you see the Swedes come out and just give us a steady dose of what's been working.
Hey.
That's running right, running left, and running up the middle.
With taking 12 minutes off the clock in the third quarter, and it worked. Probably more of the same, but now there was a timeout called by Savage right before the snap. Now that could come into play again. Just kind of put a mental note on that if you're watching here. That's basically a wasted timeout, an unnecessary timeout. You know, you had the ball 1st and 10, plenty of time to come up with the play, and they burn one right there. So if this game gets real tight in the end, minute and a half left to play, 30 seconds, and they find themselves down with just maybe no timeouts or just one, they may look back to this moment here when they had to waste one. So any small advantage you can get now could pay off later, Mark, down the road.
And the Lions, according to the scoreboard, have just one timeout themselves. We should be a little more concerned about our timeouts. The wind has picked up a little bit. We have been told it should be 2 timeouts remaining for SAGU. Now the field is cleared following the timeout. Lions defense has got to want to put an end to the bleeding right here.
Savage from the shotgun. And there's Lovenberger again, and he's wide open on the loose, down past the 30, get to the 35-yard line, and rushes right by the SAGU Lions bench, and he is one fired-up player. Check, that wasn't Dovenbarger. That was number 8, Lundarius Thomas. Here it is again, just shredding the defense, all kinds of running room, still on his feet.
Well, the Lions didn't even gain, just gained over 10 yards that quarter. Right now at the end of 3 quarters, Bethany 270 yards, SAGU with 188.
And the tides have definitely turned here in the third, now fourth quarter play. Now, you like this play right here, you know, left tackle, Lions waiting for it, snuffing it out. So it's kind of a feast or famine right now with the Lions, either really reading that play correctly or just getting totally burned for big chunks of yards.
Lions ran only 5 offensive plays in that quarter. Right now, through 3, it's 49-44 plays in favor of Bethany. They have 15 first downs to the Lions 11. And right now, through 3 quarters, they have 199 yards rushing.
Back to pass now. Savage is going to keep it. He's in trouble, and he's going to be brought down for a loss. But now there's a flag on the play. You hope that's not against the Lions because they had him down easily for a sack. You don't want the face mask or some type of a silly call that negates a great defensive snuff.
Jesse Gotting's out on the field, kind of like, you got to be kidding me. Come on. We had 4 guys gang up on him.
It is a face mask. It's Caston. Caston was going to give the Swedes the first down at 15 yards.
It was not an incidental. It was a 15-yarder. Everything right now is going in the favor of the
Look for number 91. Right there on the tackle. He grabs Savage's face mask at the point of attack.
And he gave it a pretty good yank, almost ripped it off.
Can't do that.
Good call by the official.
Now near midfield. Thomas in motion. Lindenberg gets the call. Tripped up by Montserrat. But another 5 yards, an easy 5 yards. And now we can start talking about this. The clock is running. And running out. Now near 11 minutes left, and the Swedes perfectly content to let this drive last as long as necessary.
Well, that defensive front has got to do something. This drive started on their own 10-yard line.
Here it is again from the end zone. Montserrat using his body to trip up Lindenberg, but another easy 5 yards for the weary Lions defense. Struggling to get off the field here. Lindenberg again, almost the same exact play call, and that one's good for another 10 yards, and now that's an easy first down. Chains are moving. Montserrat in on that tackle as well.
And Dylan Snyder.
It's like a deja vu. of the previous play, and there's just no answer right now for the Lions.
And one of the keys we talked about at the beginning of the game was going to be the Bethany offensive line, and right now they're having their way. And a moment ago when they lost one of their starters, I thought, well, that could be a little chink that will allow us, but they are picking up big chunks of yards right now, and they're going to continue running the ball until the Lions can stop them.
Lions put 6 in the box. The 3-3. And back to pass is Savage up the middle. It's going to be picked off if he holds on to it. And 2 Lions players had a stab at it and hit each other and knocked the ball loose. And I'll tell you what, number 3 almost came up with that. That ball didn't hit the ground. That could have been a touchdown run in by number 3, Jafar Thomas. Did the ball hit the ground? Right there it did. Okay, so it wasn't incomplete, but either one of those Lions could have easily picked that ball off. A fortunate play for the Swedes. That could have been a big game changer.
If you're Bethany, you have to like the way things are going. The Lions are trying so hard that 2 guys took each other out of the play. We would have had possession and a stop. Let's see if we can do it anyway.
2nd 10. They're gonna a missed handoff, and Savage was forced to keep it. The running back just took off without the ball, and Savage left to scramble for a 1-yard loss, and Harry Ford was able there to meet him from Thibodaux, Louisiana. Got the stop. It brings up 3rd down and 11. Under 10 minutes remaining now in the ball game.
I'll tell you, you don't want to arm wrestle Harry Ford. That guy from the chest up. Huge guns.
He's only 218, 5'10", but he's got some guns, huh?
Guys on the team said this guy, even though he's undersized, loves to bull rush. He is some kind of strong in the upper torso. That's number 90.
Big play here, 3rd and 11. Can you stop this? Now there's a fumble, loose ball, and just falling on top of it is Ladarian Thomas. And the Lions have held and really have a gift there to push the ball back to the 40-yard line. That could be, well, you're out of field goal range at this point, so they've just saved 3 points there with the Swedes' mistake.
I'm not sure what happened, if the ball had some butterfinger on it or something, but the quarterback just lost it as he spun around.
You know, in this weather, is the ball kind of just, sweaty, wet? I don't know, but something definitely made that thing slippery. And punting at midfield now are the Swedes. Get a short kick, land to the 15, and roll out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. Mark it at the 9.
Brett Crome did exactly what they needed. Kick the ball down, giving the Lions a long field. But we're just 1 possession away. A touchdown and a 2-point conversion.
You're tied.
It's not like we've got to come up with 2 scores here in the 4th quarter. The Lions, 91 yards away. Reed Golson, the point man, the trigger man. He's got McDonald down here on the near side, 3 others on the opposite side.
Now here's a whistle. And looks like another timeout.
All by Bethany.
They used their 2nd of 3 timeouts now remaining just 1 timeout for each ball club with more than a half a quarter left to play.
If the Lions get it done, and I still like their chances, right now you're going to have to give credit to Reed Golson for doing it, but the offensive line is going to be the key here. Darius Griffin, number 78, Paul Selski, number 71, who's back after a year or 2 hiatus. He's back in there. R.J. Adame, the center, and then, of course, you got 2 huge moving mountains at guard, 67, Peter Okorokan, and number 75, Mitchell Grimes. Those guys right there are going to be really important in giving time for Golson.
He does have plenty of time, 8:38 remaining, but this needs to be one of those Swede-type drives, long and sustained. And Golson stays on his feet, now throws right and overthrows one of his favorite targets, Trevor McKinley. And there's another pass kind of out in the flats there. We saw that earlier with Dylan Moore. Now with McKinley, Reed just looks a bit off target today.
Yeah,
not as sharp as we've seen him in the past.
Right. Somewhere midway in the second quarter, he began misfiring on some. He's thrown them, he's overthrown them, and then he's had a couple of timing passes where he threw it behind the receiver. Let's see if he can regroup here and sustain a drive.
You've got single coverage on McDonald again down low. I'd like to see a shot towards McDonald. Let the same play back to McKinley. Screen.
Nothing doing.
This is going to go nowhere. And now a fumble, and the Swedes have recovered.
They've got it.
This football. With some interesting play calling here. Some of the same plays out in the flats that have not worked much at all continue to be called. And now it looks like there is a...
They've got it. They have recovered
Yeah,
it.
decision for who had the ball. It is the Swedes.
McKinley, the senior, was ganged up on by a couple of players. We're not even looking at McDonald right now.
Not even looking his way. Here's a replay. Was his knee down before? There he gets wrapped up. And the ball's definitely loose. That's a live ball, and the Swedes are just going to fall on it. And they are knocking at the door again inside the 5-yard line. Mark it at the 4. First and goal to go. And the Swedes now can push this to a 2-touchdown advantage. And I would not bet a nickel they're going to pass. This will be run first down, run second down, run third down, and maybe even run fourth down. Possibly.
Right now, I would be happy to see them have a third down. They have been ripping off chunks in the first 2 plays. There goes number 4.
End around and in for the end zone. Too easy. Too easy. That is number 4, Zach Dovenbarger. Another touchdown for the Swedes, and now they're about to go up. Well, they're up by 14 now. Could be 15 here in a moment.
You know, from leading 20-7 and monstrous control of the game, the Swedes have now rolled off 28 points. Looks like 2 different teams playing out.
With 11:57 left in the second quarter, the Lions led this ball game 20-7. And since that 11:57 mark, SAGU has done basically nothing on offense. Slowed down. The Swedes have made the correct changes they need to on defense. And just like that now, it's 35-20. 28 unanswered points from Bethany College.
Could it be, Rob, that with a 2-touchdown lead and having knocked out their quarterback that we thought we had one in the bag that early, just 1 quarter in?
Well, and Savage started off really rough. He threw that, pick to Eastwood. He ran it back in. It looked like he was going all Southwestern's way. So you have a point there. It could be that SAGU said, hey, we've got this one, in hand. And not taking into account there's plenty of time on the clock, and you've got a veteran coach on the other side. Although it's his first year at Bethany, he knows how to win football games at every level. And so you've got 28 unanswered points. How are you going to respond now? You've got 8 minutes left. Here's what I think that the difference will be is right here in special teams. You need a huge run back. You need a block punt. You need something that doesn't normally happen in the flow of an offensive defensive game at the line of scrimmage for them to have really any chance, because right now the Lions offense is stagnant and the defensive line is tired. So special teams could be the key here. Let's see if McDonald can get the ball kicked his way. They're going to kick away from him. It's going to be Vinique Benton gets his hand on the ball, and Reed pushes everything forward. They did whistle, and the ball came loose, but they whistled before he was down. But it'll be a dead ball right there about the 31, 32-yard line. And so, again, for about the second or third time in a row, the Lions had the ball in pretty good field position beyond the 20 at the 31. Let's see if they can get some sustained drive established. Need to average about 3 minutes of drive, stop, another 3 minutes, score again, and maybe send this thing to overtime.
Well, now that we absolutely have to have McDonald, you think they're going to be paying him attention? It's going to make it even harder since we have, he may be injured for all we know. He is, we're not even looking his way.
Reed, all kinds of daylight, rolls left, still on his feet, pushes near past the midfield marker, almost the midfield, 48-yard line.
They said
Nice
he
heads-up
stepped out.
running.
They said he stepped out at the 44. It looks
44,
like.
okay. Irregardless, a very nice run from Golson, a scrambling quarterback. We've seen that for years, and he puts it on full display again and moves the chains. That's the best play we've seen in a quarter and a half, Mark, from any offensive player. His foot was out of bounds right there. You saw that in the replay. Now Golson looked to throw. He's going to keep it himself. Tries to roll over a defender.
He got a seal block out there by Vanique Benton.
Gain of 3.
Nick Junker upended him.
Got to throw to McDonald here. He's all by himself on the left side. He's looking, and he is sacked from behind, from the blind side. And getting beat on his blocking assignment was number 12, Troy Griffin. Just barreling by him was number 98 for Bethany College. Dahari Gray just blew past Hopkins. Or Griffin, sorry, Griffin.
Gray is one of their top recruits, and Griffin stood there like the house on the side of the road. He blew through him and sacked Golson. Big loss of about 7 yards, and now it brings up a 3rd and long. Comes a blitz.
McDonald still free. He's going to go for McDonald. He's underthrown him. He dropped it in his breadbasket and dropped it at the 25-yard line. He finally found an open Jeremy McDonald, and I think McDonald was reacting to the defender who looked like he was going to tip it, that threw off McDonald just a bit, and the ball still was right in his basket,
and that was the
incomplete.
Problem. Instead of him grabbing it with his hands, he let it hit him right in the chest.
Take a look at what the defender may have just, appeared to have distracted the ball. Either way, McDonald, his eyes were thrown off just a second and unable to bring it in. And a huge, huge missed opportunity for the Lions. They'll have to punt it away now with 6:30 left in this ball game. Taking it to 20.
We got a flag on roughing the punter. I don't think it was a 15-yarder. Even Stewart. No, it wasn't Stewart. Now the punter's limping a little bit. He drew the penalty. It may only be a 5-yarder.
Well, if it's a 15-yarder, it would make it 4th and 1, Mark. Wait to see.
If it's 15, it may be automatic first down. No, it's a 5-yard penalty.
So do you re-kick again at 4th 11, or do you just decline the penalty with the ball around the, I think they said like the 30-yard line. Yeah, the ball's at the 30. But kind of a strategic decision that Coach Jesse Godding has to make here. Do we want to re-kick?
He's going to re-kick.
Sure, why not? Try to pin him deep. Perhaps maybe a fake punt in the works. Mark, what do you think?
Well, there's always a chance of turnover on a kicking game, and Godding is probably playing a hunch that, we'll take a chance. Maybe we'll get a fumble. Maybe he'll mishandle that reception on the punt. And they're using the freshman punter, and he's looked pretty good. He's 6'1". He's used both him and Steven Stewart well.
Here's Deeran's kick. And that's going to be well past the 30.
Kick.
Much better. Will it stop? It's going to roll into the end zone. So a net of 10 yards for the Lions. We'll set up shop at the 20 instead of the 30.
That's a kick of about 56 yards, I think.
What's to note is another 22 seconds just went off the clock.
57-yard punt.
With all that extra play there, extra 2 plays, you're now down to near 6 minutes remaining in this ball game. I want to thank our amazing student crew giving you all the visuals today, our replay cameras, our live action cameras, brought to you by the amazing student crew from the SAGU Sports Network.
We've added a couple of cameras to coverage this year and upped the ante on replays, and they're doing a great job.
Great job for all of our viewers. Say thanks a lot to our amazing crew, and led by John Cookman, executive producer. He's got him dialed in today. Now back to action. Nothing doing there. DJ Johnson says, I don't think so. I believe that was 23 on the carry. Jared Bell stopped for no gain on the play. Clock keeps ticking now. 5:40 remaining. Lions need to get a 3 and out, get this ball back in a hurry and score quick. And maybe an onside, and I know you keep going on and on, but that's about the only way at this point the Lions have a chance to win this ball game. There's a wrap-up attempt. He gets free, but waiting on the cutback is number 90. There's Ike Caston.
Number 90.
And now a player slow to get up. That's going to be...
That's Harry Ford making the tackle.
With a forward. Okay, check that forward. And then
there's a replay of it.
Yeah, check it. It's Harry Ford with a good tackle. But of more note, Deontay Morrison really slow to get up. They call him Bones. Now, what's the reason, Mark, they call him Bones again?
Well, I would like to think that it is because he rattles bones with his tackles, but I have a feeling it's that tall, lean physique he has. And he has about a 24/7, 100-watt smile, if you've ever been around Deontay. He played quite a bit last year on defense, but this is a year where he's moved into a starting spot. He's earned that, and he got piled up right there in that misdirection play. You can see a couple of the trainers out there, Thomas Rhodes and Stuart Dunn, who's new to the staff.
And this does not look good, to say the least. We'll hope he's able to climb back onto his feet.
They're tending to him above the waist, which is better than a knee or an ankle. But that red package they're bringing out is not what we want to see.
Look at number 8 on the play, and is it his leg? Hard to tell from that angle what exactly happened in that scrum. Listen, there's a reason I quit playing football in the 9th grade.
It looks like they're holding up.
This is a dangerous game.
Lions came out and grabbed the early lead. Bethany ties it up. Then the Lions seized control at 20-7, knocked the Swedes quarterback out. Things were looking great, especially when you consider the Lions had 3 opportunities in great field position to deliver the knockout blow. Didn't do that, and it allowed Bethany a chance to regroup, to catch their breath, and they have come back strong here in the second half.
Looks like it may have been an arm that was injured, and nice to see the Southwestern Lions gathering in prayer for their teammate. That's just kind of what the culture is all about here at Southwestern. It's a lot more important things than a ball game happening in the lives of these young men, and we're glad to see them do that for their teammate. Looking ahead at the schedule, let's take a look at the schedule. We mentioned Howard Payne next week, and we'll have that for you here on SAGU Sports Live. And week 3 of the season, they're going to travel to Haskell University to play the Indians.
And starting with the Haskell game up in Lawrence, Kansas, that will be our first audio broadcast. So fans can tune in here on the SAGU Sports Network and listen to the games that are on the road, which that starts a stretch of 3 straight road games.
And you'll be calling those games for us?
We'll be bringing the play-by-play, and that means that Lion fans do not have to miss a single game this season.
That is correct. We've got you covered via TV or radio. You can find all the action right here. SAGU Sports Network. Game 4 of the season is Texas Lutheran in Seguin, Texas. And then another road game, as Mark mentioned, at Oklahoma Baptist out at Shawnee. And then we'll come back home and play the Langston Lions. The Lions versus the Lions. It's a 2 p.m. TV broadcast. And great to see Morrison on his feet, walking off under his own power. Then we'll go to Sherman, Texas, home of one of our producers here at SAGU Sports Live. Tim Roberts, his hometown. We'll go up there and play the Austin College Roos. And then Panhandle State on October 26th. That's homecoming weekend. The Aggies will be in town for that ball game. And boy, that's not a sight you like to see there. That is not a good sign. We'll hope it's not as serious as it looks, but
looks like that's it looks like a left elbow.
Then finishing up the season, 3 games at Wayland Baptist out in Plainview, and then back home again. I'm sorry, check it, at Texas and Tyler, and then the final home game is the final game of the season, Bacone College, November 16th, also, of course, on SAGU.TV.
That's 11 games this year.
11.
We played 11, I think, back in 2004. The Lions have 5 of them at home, 6 of them on the road.
And this will be the only game this season, as far as we know, here at Midlothian's multi-purpose stadium. The rest of our games home will be at the familiar confines of Lumpkin Stadium, which up here in the press box, you can see the outskirts of Waxahachie. You can almost see Lumpkin Stadium from here, about 10 miles away. A really good view up here, up high. We're back to play here, down low in the field, as it is 3rd and 10 now. Bo Savage rolls left, stops, throws deep. He's got a receiver.
And he out-jumped Dylan Snyder, who gets up upset at whoever had the coverage. He came over as a safety, so he beat his man.
Ricky Alexander with the catch. Great timing to jump up there and beat the defender to the ball. Now near midfield, 1st and 10 from the 47, and
things continue to go the way of the Swedes. Yeah. 3rd and long. Looked like we would have a chance to get it back, and they're going to have the opportunity to run more time off the clock. They've pretty much eaten up the whole second half. And you got to give credit to a quarterback who probably wasn't even planning on seeing the field today.
Just about to say the same thing. You see Bain out of the game, and Savage stepping in, filling nicely in the second half, especially with 20 unanswered points for Bethany. Now here's a stop up the middle again. A good play, bad play, good play, bad play for the Lions. And now you're trickling near the 4-minute 30 mark. Actually, under 4 minutes now remaining on the game clock on the scoreboard here at Midlothian Stadium. And the clock still runs.
That was Eastwood with the stop. Things have definitely gone the way of the Swedes when we had a chance to make a stop. 2 guys, including it was Morrison and Mansoray, had the interception. But at real time, it's difficult to know the guy you're battling for the ball is your teammate. Oh,
stop.
What a hit, ladies and gentlemen.
DJ Johnson.
Horace Williams. I think it's Arbor Day. He just planted Linneber.
Was that 89 or 99? It looked like it was, I think it was Johnson.
That wasn't Horace. Well, I just wanted to say his name. That was DJ Johnson.
Here it is again. Oh, yeah, that's the veteran. DJ Johnson.
Born in Detroit, but he says Springfield, Missouri is his home. Went to Parkview High School. And this guy is looking to be an all-conference player this season for the Lions.
Maybe an interception would be nice. Instead, it's an incomplete pass out of bounds intended for number 80 for the Swedes. Rodney Mollett will bring up a 4th down. So with 2:40 left, special teams needs to be in play real quick, both as a punt return, maybe an onside kick, and then give Reed a chance to pull off a miracle. Otherwise, you're going to run out of clock with two touchdown scores down. Back set to receive will be the freshman, Vinique Benton, from right here in Waxahachie. Let's see if we can do something special here. He's going to get a look at it. The ball bounces. No, it's going to stop straight up in the air, and it's going to be covered up by the white jerseys at the 23-yard line.
Well, we heard so much about the Swedes and the speed merchants, the speed burners they have on the at wide receiver and at slot receiver, and that really hasn't materialized at all.
They've not had to, Mark, because the running game really began to step up and wear down that D-line. We have not really seen the speed that's been advertised.
But they have used them on those counter plays and those end around, so we've been able to see some of that speed, but more as a ball carrier, not as a receiver.
All right, Golson back to pass. He's going to keep it off and take off and run instead out into the 30, just short of the first down marker. He does have the legs to move, but if he does, he will need to do just that, and that is get out of bounds in a big hurry, because now the clock is not your friend anymore.
Well, of all the weaponry that the Lions have at their disposal, you would not want to see Reed Golson be your leader in yards. And so far, that's what's happening.
He rolls right, going to keep it himself, and he is tackled for a loss. You know what? We need to talk about something that's really been exceptionally played today, and that is the secondary for the Swedes. I mean, they are, just on that play alone, they just covered up every one of our receivers. Benton, McKinley, McDonald were completely covered up by this really fast secondary. That's why Golson had nowhere to throw. And now here's a difficult throw, a sidearm throw, a sling to Benton. That's no good. And just like that, it's 3rd down and 4. But how about that secondary for the Swedes, really giving Golson all kinds of trouble. Now it's 4th down and 4. Check that, 4th and 4. But perhaps we need to give credit where credit is due, and that is the secondary for Bethany College.
Well, you're exactly right. They forced Golson to run 10 rushes for 47 yards. The previous play, when he got sacked, he ran one way. All the receivers were on the other end of the
Against
field.
his body, and it's knocked down by a defender well downfield.
I think that was Stephen Williams.
And that's going to be a change of possession on downs. It was number 11 on the play. It was Brent Donaldson, possibly. Number 11.
It was Brent Donaldson.
On the play. So now the Lions give the ball back over to Bethany College with under 2 minutes and trailing by 15. This one's all in the books, Mark. So the Lions will likely drop to 0-1 in the season. Not the start you want to see. Good first half of play, really good first quarter, and then from there it just went downhill as they made adjustments and brought back a whole different ball game, a running game that Bethany just kept hammering and hammering, and we had no answer for it.
But when you prepare for one thing and then it changes, the punt return though was huge. We're up 3 scores. Should have been up by more than that, but we missed those other opportunities.
Lineber keeps the ball rolling, keeps the clock moving.
And in
5 more yards.
the second half, we haven't had those opportunities. So when they present themselves, you've got to cash in then. It's like having the red apple sale.
Timing's everything.
You come back next week, sorry, the sale is gone.
And a timeout on the field. As Bethany College has shown why they are number 8 all time in the NAIA in the win column. This is a veteran program with a veteran coach, although in his first year, they know how to win ball games on the road, and they've done that today here at Midlothian.
You know, 2 years ago when we went up to Lindsborg, that was one of those games where you watch it and you're going, how in the world did we lose to that team when there were as many mistakes as that were made, but we didn't cash in opportunities? We lose 29-21. Last year we lead the whole game, but settle for field goals. They score late and win. And today they've come back on us again. And the team is going to have to look at the positive things that they have done and established today, especially the great energy and the start of the game. And then we've got to plug some holes, and we've got to do it in a week.
And how about this freshman on the other side for the Swedes? Freshman Bo Savage was not expecting to play at all today, likely. And you've got this Justin Bain guy coming in and stealing the starting position at a scrimmage last week against Mid-America Nazarene, and now he comes in off the bench and really performs admirably for Coach Manny Matsikas. And he may have just earned himself a starting position for this ball club.
At number 30, Lindbergh,
Travis Lindbergh.
right, he has 24 rushes for 148 yards. And if you're looking for MVPs of the game for the Swede side of the ball, that's a guy you have to look at. Of course, the quarterback, after a really rough opening start with a few fumbles and the interception, Lindbergh has been great.
And just 64 yards he had in the first half.
Right. 64 in the second half. He's got 88 yards and counting, and they're about one play from going into the victory formation. And the coach just got doused.
It's his first win as a Bethany College coach. Manny Matsakis, I hope I'm saying his name right, Matsakis. And time is going to run out here. 20 seconds left. Players are going to line up and shake hands, and the Lions will drop their season opener, fall to 0-1 with a 35-20 loss to the team from Lindsborg, Kansas. The Bethany College Swedes, solid college program. Congratulations to that ball club for a fine win today. And the Purple Pride will have to regroup, Mark, for a tough match next week against Howard Payne. They're no slouch, too. That's a good ball club.
Howard Payne, we played them 2 years ago here and came away with a last-second win. We've beaten them 2 straight times, and it's been a friendly rivalry so far to start. But the Lions, a very good-looking start, but didn't do much in the last almost 3 quarters. I certainly was looking for them to put this team away early. We had the chances.
Oh, did we ever? Well, we'll come back after a brief commercial break with some stats, some analysis for the second half of play. So stay tuned right here. You're watching SAGU Sports Live on the SAGU Sports Network. Your final score again from Midlothian, 35-20. We'll be right back after this. And welcome back to the end of our game here at Midlothian Stadium. The final score, not what we wanted, a 35-20 loss, Mark.
You know what? Disappointing second half. I have to say the Swedes did well. They held us to 0 yards in the second half, and they collected a little over 200.
We'll get some more numbers later, but first let's go down to Tyler Evans. She's standing by with offensive coordinator Frank Tristan. Tyler?
Thanks, guys. Here I am with Coach Frank Tristan, the offensive coordinator for the SAGU Lions. Now, Coach, we scored such a high 20 points in the first half. What do you think caused the trouble for the second half?
In the second half, we made a couple mistakes, jumping off sides at 1st and 10 that kind of slows us down and loses the momentum. And then they made some adjustments, and we didn't account for them. A lot of it was self-inflicted as far as dropping a ball or doing something like that. But as far as our offensive coaches, we didn't make an adjustment, and we didn't make that. And so that's our faults, and we'll make that better next week. But overall, the kids played hard, and, they played a little better.
Very cool. And what specific adjustments do you believe have to be made before we play again next week?
Yeah, we're real strong up front, and we started getting away from that when we were playing behind. If you're down 2 scores, we started to kind of press a little bit. So if we would have maybe stuck with our game plan a little bit, we would have been better in the second half. But we kind of pressed, and then we try to throw the ball all over the place, and that's not our game. So we'll get back to it, and we'll make adjustments next week.
Thank you so much, Coach, and good job.
Thanks, Tyler.
Back to you, Rob.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Coach Tristan. So, yeah, 35-20 loss. Some of the numbers here, interesting to note, Mark. The Lions ran just 16 plays and held the ball for just 8 minutes the entire second half. And what's really sad is no first downs.
It was a great play by Bethany's defense. They put a stop to the momentum early in the second quarter. The huge punt return and the knockout punch SAGU could have had. They fumbled the ball at midfield, and Bethany slowly avoided the staggering start and got on their feet and came back.
Running game, all the difference in the second half. Bo Savage, freshman, coming off the bench, performed admirably for the Swedes, so hats off to that ball club. Again, the Lions led 20-7, about 11:57 left in the second quarter, and it was just like we just stopped, or the Swedes just woke up. It was a wake-up call somewhere in there in the second quarter, and ends up being a big win for the Bethany College Swedes.
Lions come away with a number of good things to hang their hats on. An injury to Morrison.
And here you see some scoring highlights. that we did have in the game. Bo Savage for the Swedes had a real good game off the bench, but not in this play. How about this?
Eastwood with the intercepted screen attempt. We were up 20-7.
That's the point to put us up 20-7 with 11:57 left in the second quarter. And now here's Golson. He's going to look left, and he's going to find McKinley in the end zone. Nice grab and a hold from McKinley. Haul that one in. And here's a field goal attempt. Or I should say extra point attempt from Gish. So there you have it. I mean, just a great second half from Bethany College. So what can you say?
28 straight points. They did real well. Not exactly what we thought was going to happen, but them losing their quarterback, a lot of things were upended.
Coming up on the SAGU Sports Live programming on our sports network, Monday, you want to stay tuned for the Dallas Christian versus SAGU soccer game. That kicks off or begins at 5 p.m. right here. And then Thursday, check out the War Room Coach's Show. That's Thursday at 7 p.m. live on the SAGU.tv. And also then again this Saturday coming up, a week from today, we play against the Haskell University Indians. Haskell, yes. Any thoughts on that ball club?
That's going to be a good game.
We hope to win that game. Well, listen, on behalf of our student crew, our producer, John Cookman, I want to thank you for watching our program. Be sure to like us on Facebook, check us out on Instagram and Twitter and all that social media. And until next time, we'll see you, and may the Lord bless you and keep you and give you his peace. Take care, and God bless.